Major 0, Musicians 1. Now, it's been a long time since we've had a result like that. Record companies taking a back seat when it comes to distributing music. Major record companies' total lack of disregard for any laws of Western economics is unbelievable. Unfair competition. What's that they cry? It's a tough business, the music business. It is another worn-out cliche. But why is today's music business on a par with the film industry of the 1920s? America's Broadcast Music Incorporated anti-piracy team is getting to grips with the net culture that has arisen out of the use of MP3 and the way that MP3 users swap music files via chat rooms. The fact that the people using music in this way are mainly young and have no idea that they might be breaching rights does not stop the anti-piracy unit from acting against such sites. The work of the RIAA is at present all about closing hundreds of sites down per day. However, for every 100 that are closed, another 100 are again activated each day. Such is the nature of the beast and the ubiquitous way of the Internet. The MP3 revolution has gone over ground recently via national television in the United Kingdom. But not only do we have a music revolution occurring in cyberspace, but today we have a cultural revolution as well, ensuing with the television as the catalyst. In the real world, the retailers are having a serious time selling product. Evidently, consumers are actually walking into the stores and suggesting that they don't need to buy any CDs, as they can get it from the Internet or via their interactive TV services. Of course, the retailers, forced into a corner not only by panic and inaction on behalf of the major record companies to deal with this situation, have adopted a policy of integrating their sales via the Internet in a blind rush not to be left behind. The mp3.com website, launched in California, America, is a good example of power brokering on the Internet that results in young, naive musicians being exploited. Start a company distributing the kids' music, allow them to interact with it, sell them hope, tell them it's what they've been waiting for. They're all going to have their hopes realized. Free music. No, it's free marketing, and the owners of the company are aware of this. As far as I'm concerned, there is no need to court favor with the old music distribution system, as it is flawed and heavily in favor of the blue-chip companies. The concept was, we would release our music via the MP3 format, remove the middleman, and then sell our music to people who really liked it. Artists can then live with the returns that this gives, possibly marketing the music via multimedia, and proceed to revolutionize the media industry. I'm feeling another wave of cynicism flow over me as I think to myself, who is pulling the strings at mp3.com? Have we all been duped by that old music industry ploy of building someone up to be the main player? But this time, we've all been the player, and the neat trick is that we don't get anything out of it. The music industry does. Yes, again, the powers that be have triumphed. Or have they? Artists' organizations like Broadcast Music Incorporated, BMI, and American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers, ASCAP, have all tried to adopt policies of continued self-regulation, and their cousins in the UK, the Performing Rights Society, PRS, and the Mechanical Copyright Protection Society, MCPS, and Netherlands World Rights Organization, Buma Stemra, have all taken steps to protect their interests. None have been able to do so due to the advent of the MP3 phenomenon, which has replaced the word sex as the most searched word in the Internet. The BMI have their Horizon project, a 2-year digital agenda to outline members' works online in the hope that they can track all composers, publishers' works via watermarking, in the vain hope that they can create a virtual database that will be impervious to attack by would-be free music advocates. One could argue that the right to distribute their music, created to further communicate the human condition and experience to our fellow human beings, without the exploitation of capitalistic middlemen, has been partly realized via the Internet, without being killed for what we believe in, killed creatively, killed morally, and killed physically. For what is a birthright to create what we feel about our human condition? Declaration of Human Rights, Article 19. Quote, "Everyone has the right to freedom of opinion and expression. This includes freedom to hold opinions without interference, and to seek, receive, and impart information and ideas through any media and regardless of frontiers." Close quote. Lauryn Hill, an American black popular artist, has some very good criticism of present-day artists. Company relationships. If you listen to her album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, in one of her songs titled Superstar, she complains of musicians and artists pumping out the same tired beats, etc. Music is supposed to inspire, so how come we are getting no higher? She further gets introspective about the morality of other music artists. But like the free internet marketing tool, is her philosophy born of a need by record companies to create a similar paradigm shift marketing strategy? One of my conclusive thoughts on the present stars of tomorrow entering the music revolution of today is that because of their abuse at the hands of the music industry, as is, i.e., the famous five, EMI, Sony, Warner Brothers, BMG, and Universal, then how can they bring anything new to the table other than what they have learned before? Ultimately, so far, new young musicians are incredibly lucky. So far, they have been able to create their music and get an audience without having to succumb to capitalistic mega-strategies. Everything's looking cool. The revolution is here. And then, via America, we have Harry Hare of Sitesound.com, who applies for a patent and gets it passed. Every time someone downloads any digital media and subsequent information, Harry Hare gets 1% of the income. It basically goes against all the laws of Western economics, but in the world of cyberspace, everything is possible. This is the Internet, and old rules do not apply. Americans are again becoming the new pioneers of what has been perceived as a global gold rush, to control everything that's digital and that exists and inhabits the World Wide Web. But in cyberspace, there is nothing to grasp. It's an entity that's ubiquitous. We've even had European governments wanting to charge a bit rate tax on deferred media via the Internet. A bureaucratic decision from Maastricht, Brussels, was taken to implement a download tax against all companies that take information or deliver information over the Internet. Supposedly in an attempt to regulate information delivery, and from a rather erroneous point of conserving bandwidth. But how can they legislate? How can they control something as organic as the Internet? They can't. They'll try, but the old rules don't apply. They are trying to make new rules, but they have been entrenched within their own power structures so long that they haven't the education at present to grasp what is actually going on in cyberspace. Like everything else, governments want to control their creation. However, the irony is that now the beast has been unleashed. It cannot be controlled. Everyone has a piece of it and is riding as hard as they can until they pull the plug. But now, we've gone so far, I don't think the powers that be actually can. It has gotten to the stage whereby certain politically minded organizations are forming cells and actually orchestrating online email campaigns to further their rights or cause. As much as the governments of the world try and block this action, the groups can reappear very easily from another direction.
The ubiquitous presence of information distribution
cannot so far be regulated because of its origins. It works very well indeed. In an interview with the BBC's Net program in 1997, Peter Cochrane, a futures man at British Telecom, BT, mentioned, basically, we have 16th century minds in the management and government. He was commenting on the fact that the people responsible for implementing technological decisions in the UK today are archaic in their thinking on technological issues, and so impede the development or advancement of new concepts by their ignorance to such matters. If we have a 16th century attitude to new technology, then that is where we will stay, metaphorically, until we catch up to the 21st century. Suddenly, we have all become empowered via the internet, whether the control mechanisms that be like it or not. One good example of this is the distribution of music over the internet, which has thrown up many problems of being for the major music industry players in the RWO.